All right, guys. So we're gonna get started with this show, this YouTube show. We're gonna talk about the NAR lawsuit that everybody's talking about that just went down today, and we're gonna be discussing it with Frank Garay, and we've invited on Donnie Kunich of Town Square Realty, who's a broker out in Hilton Head, South Carolina. So let's bring these guys on. I'd like to welcome you guys onto the show today.
Hey, Kevin.
So, how you doing, Donnie? Good to see you again.
It's
So we go ahead.
No, I'm good. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let me just enter. So we want to do the show. So those of you who know us, and a lot of you know Frank Garay, right? So Frank's in the lending industry. We want to talk about what this means, but also what it means for the loan officer. We do a lot of these about how this affects the actual individual lender and loan officer. So we're gonna get to that angle. But first, we want to talk to Donnie a little bit. So before we get into that, so if you haven't seen this yet, let me see here. I pull up here. So this is the housing wire right here. So Missouri jury finds realtors, brokers guilty of conspiring to inflate commissions. After 2 weeks of testimony, the Kansas City jury found NAR, National Association of Realtors, Home Service, and Keller Williams guilty of collusion. And guys, check this out. The defendants have been ordered to pay damages of $1.78 billion.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
That's a big number.
Yeah, it's a huge number. And we want to talk about, well, first of all, we're going to talk to Donnie a little bit about this. And, Donnie's been researching this. He tuned into this big time today. This is going to affect, obviously, the real estate industry, but it's also going to affect the mortgage industry. Everything kind of trickles over, right? And how we as loan officers work with realtors. But before we get into that side of this, let's talk to Donnie, man. Like, man, what did you find out today? What were you seeing? Like,
well, what I found out that one of the most damaging podcasts that the plaintiff, I apologize, used against, or actually what it strengthened their position was, it was with Tim Ferry and how he had a podcast and training agents how to ask for a commission of whatever 6 or 7% and why it was important. So to a degree, he was training agents to ask for the commission, which they use that to say that agents are controlling the commission or locking the commission in at a certain rate, where Gary Keller stepped in and said, I tell all our agents that they have the right to negotiate the commission. We don't fix the commission. They're independent agents, and they work through their own negotiations when they take a listing. Now,
wow.
Unfortunately, we're being recorded, so you might have to take this out of it.
Why?
I can tell you that I'm an independent broker. I'm a 20 years brokerage. I'm not a franchise. But when I deal with franchise agents, and I give my agents freedom to negotiate commissions. I don't lock it in. And it's because sometimes to win the listing, you have to give up something. And usually it's up in the front, the commission. I mean, it's the elephant in the room. But when we speak to agents from franchise companies, and I'm not going to name the franchises, but the bigger ones, they're basically told their brokers want them to keep that commission rate, whatever it is, the going rate in the area. No negotiations. So
this is so the crux of this whole lawsuit is that the plaintiffs are saying basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, Donnie, you've researched this more than me, but the plaintiffs are saying that NAR and these big franchises have basically colluded, and even I think they're even involving the MLSs or something. I don't know, where they're basically saying that they are kind of price setting commissions, and that the it's unfair to do that, and then also to quote unquote, by proxy of setting these commissions, make the seller pay for the buyer agent, right? Make the sellers pay for the buyer agent. And I guess what you're saying, Donnie, is that some of the bigger franchises do indeed sort of have a mandatory or minimums that they set on their people. Whereas maybe some of the independents don't really play like that. Right. So, and lo and behold, a jury said that they are guilty of that. And how do you think this plays out, Donnie?
I would say they are guilty of it, but you walk into a Nike outlet, you're buying a tennis shoe. There's a commission on that tennis shoe for Nike, and the person who, I don't know if it's LeBron James, whomever, they all get something out of it.
Right.
We're the consumer. We know that going into this. It's not a hidden fee. We all know it going into this. There's a fee to buy real estate.
Right.
You go to a car auction, you're going to pay a buyer fee. They openly disclose that. And you pay it to the person selling it. What's the difference in real estate? You take that fee out of the mix, you take, well, last year, 2022, 54% of the transactions from a loan officer, from a mortgage standpoint, were first-time home buyers. You take the commission, the buyer side out of it, and you're forcing the consumer to pay the commission to the agent to buy a piece of property. That 54% of the first-time home buyers are gone.
Well, I don't think that that's the way that it would go. I think the way that it would go is the first-time home buyer would just go to the listing agent and do a dual agency, right, and buy the house.
There are some states, namely Florida, does not recognize dual agency. You can't even do dual agency.
So what about this?
That would create a problem. Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
So yeah. What about this? So I'm reading here. Let me just read this paragraph here. This kind of stood out to me. It says, in the worst case scenario for the defendants, Bo, I guess who's the attorney here, could ban the cooperative compensation rule nationally on the multiple listing services, which would prevent listing agents and home sellers from predetermining buyer agent commission rates. Yeah. Listing agents would also be prohibited from sharing commissions with buyer agents, and buyer agent commission rates would not be published in the MLS. What do you think about that?
That's a big deal.
Seller commissions,
it's a huge deal, right?
Seller commissions aren't published either. I've never understood that. I look at a listing, I know what I can make if I sell it. I have no clue what the seller agent's making.
Yeah.
You don't see that until the settlement statement. And in this world, especially last year when the market was exploding, you might see a buyer commission at 2%. Because the seller agent negotiated on the listing side a 5% commission. We took the hit. They didn't. We didn't know that until the closing statement. Now, and the reason they don't do that is there are some buyer agents that won't show homes with reduced commissions because they'll show the house with a 3% commission over a 2.5% commission.
I think maybe this plays into this lawsuit as well, per se, right? Because it should be illegal and unethical to do that. I know it technically is, at least unethical from a NAR standpoint, to not show a listing to a buyer based on what the commission is that's being offered to the buyer agent. It shouldn't be that way. You should show the buyer no matter what the commission is being offered. I'm just really curious. Of course, we knew that. I think I had the feeling that they were going to lose, right? Because you know why, man? They're using the big antitrust word, right? And they're throwing that out there, and it's really easy to come on, man. It's not going to be too difficult, especially when you're talking about really big numbers here that agents make, and it's not going to be too difficult to get a jury kind of on the side of the poor consumer. We have to stop this outrageous, egregious, greedy stuff. So I had the gut feeling that they were probably going to lose, which they did. And then also, of course, they're going to appeal, which they have or are going to do. Yeah. So nothing's done yet because they're going to appeal. But eventually, let's just say it this way: the buyer agent dynamic is about to change. You can't sidestep this stuff. This is not going to go away. Something's going to happen. I mean, Kevin and Donnie, I'm just curious. Let's just say it's a foregone conclusion the buyer agent dynamic is going to change. What do you think it'll become? I mean, what do you really do you really think that they're going to actually try and get money out of buyers to represent them?
Yeah. Well, that's not going to happen. Buyers buyers, first of all, as a loan officer for many, many years, I mean, how many buyers actually have the money to do that? They can't roll it into the loan. So and as I was telling Donnie for the show here, I have some experience overseas. Did a project. My wife's from Spain, as you know, and we did a project over there, a tech project for the real estate industry, and I was surprised because I thought the whole world was like the U.S. They don't have buyer agents. They don't know what are you talking about? We don't even know what that is, and and buying a property in Spain is very similar to buying a car. It's like every agency has their inventory, and you kind of window shop. You just kind of go over there and you see the flyers in the windows, and what do you got, and sellers can list with multiple people. That was kind of weird to me too. Oh yeah, because so one thing I saw that I noticed that was weird was they don't put addresses on listings. And if you go on a real estate portal in Spain, you will never see the address. I'm like, okay, why are you guys not putting the address? And they're like, the agents will, because we don't want other agents to know where this property is, because they could hit that seller up too and get the listing as well. So if I'm a seller, I could just go, and why wouldn't I? I can go list my property with 10 different agencies, and whoever brings me the buyers, one that gets paid. That's how it works.
So
yes.
Like out here, we do the exclusive thing,
right? They don't have that,
right,
there.
Donnie? We're doing the exclusive right to sell,
right?
And so out there, it's not that way. So,
yeah,
Donnie, what do you think? You think it'll go that direction?
It won't, because why would a listing company, I mean, for that matter, who pays for the light bill or anything that goes, who's going to advertise? If I'm not even sure I can sell your house because you're listing with 8 other different brokers, why would I spend a dime on marketing? I do like,
because you want to outmarket the other guy.
I'm a condo guy, so I'm going to represent just the oceanfront condos.
Right.
You come to my storefront because I'm the condo guy, or I'm the oceanfront. We have a guy in Hilton Head. It's called the ocean broker. So he represents ocean property. But the problem is consumer protection. If everybody's wild westing, I'm going to represent that person, and you're going to represent the same person. Are we sharing the same information? So there's going to be some consumer issues here, in my opinion. How are we going to protect the consumer?
Good question.
I mean,
well, there's always consumer issues, man. Every time they pass some rule or law to protect the consumer, like how they did in the mortgage industry, how they just totally turned the mortgage industry upside down. So much of the stuff was not. It actually ended up being worse for the consumer. It just seems that it happens a lot, right? So
it does.
Yeah. I don't know. It is. This is going to change. So Donnie, I know you looked into this a lot today. Now I know you guys are going to be good, because I know you guys are listing agents. So let's talk about that. I mean, I don't know if you guys, I mean, you might have buyer agents work for you, but I know you guys do a lot of listings.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I would say the last 4 years, I would say 90% of my business has been listing.
Yeah.
You list, you win. I mean, I was told 20-something years ago, to last in this business, you got to list. And it's still the case today, and even more so now.
Right.
But what people don't understand, the future business are your buyers. The person who buys today is going to sell tomorrow. So for an agent to say, I'm just going to be a listing agent, you're really going to hurt yourself when that person that you're trying to represent, who's a buyer, who buys the house, he's going to sell it someday. So you still want to represent buyers to a degree. It's kind of like you have to have a mutual fund, buyers and sellers. On a perfect world, before COVID, I would say we're about 50-50. When COVID hit, for whatever reason, my market changed to mostly listings for the last 3 years. Even this year, I could say that 95% of my business is listing. And right now, the consumer can find me anywhere, whether it's internet, MoveTube, on my phone. So the future buyer may come to your store and say, what do you have today? What do you have in your listings?
Probably. It's probably what's going to wind up happening. They're going to come working directly with you. I just think that's probably the way it's going to go. The whole thought of the buyer agent getting a buyer to pay them to represent them. I could see that happening, but I could see that being, it's going to be $500, or it's not going to be 2% or 2.5% of the, it's going to be some sort of, some reasonable fee that a buyer could, justify, knowing I've got somebody searching like crazy to find the right place for me.
Maybe those will be intern agents. They're going to be working under listing agents. You never know. Yeah, learning the ropes, or an agent, a listing agent assistant or something,
Yeah.
But again, like I said, in Europe, they just don't. Well, I can't speak for all of Europe. I know Spain. I think most of Europe's like that, and I know in Spain there is some type of you can get an exclusive listing, and I forgot how that worked, but it's rare. But anyway, yeah. So guys, this is definitely going to change, and a lot of people are going to be researching this. I'm on social media. We're connected to realtors and of course loan officers, and we see people kind of freaking out about it right now. They're just really concerned. So Frank, let's talk a little bit about the lending side of this and how this is going to affect loan officers. Because most loan officers right now go after, the typical buyer agent, right? That's not doing a lot of, there's a lot of that out there. There's a lot of buyer agents that just don't work listings, and some of them are very good, and they're filling up your pipeline. So what would happen if they're just kind of out of the picture?
Well, yeah, that, well, and here's the thing. I would say this, and Donnie could probably corroborate this, and because he even said it, that during COVID they were real healthy, having about a 50-50 mix. Right. I think today, if you're really a successful agent, and believe me, I'm married to an agent, my mother's an agent, I'm surrounded by agents, right? I think that, a successful agent is one that, does both, and,
right.
And if you're heavy on the listing side, look, man, I did some calculations as best as I could extrapolate from the internet, which this is a hard number to figure out, but I'm seeing about maybe 50 to 60%, and maybe Donnie, you can help with this, of the people who list a home to sell it are doing it to buy another home.
Yeah.
Right. So would that be about right? About 60%, maybe 100%. Somewhere. Okay. Yeah. And then out of those 60%, they're not all paying cash for the next home, right? I mean, a lot of them are selling a house, taking their equity.
I would say that up until this year, there's a high percentage that are paying cash. 70%, because if they're moving from, in the South, the cost for a home relatively to the Northeast, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, is less expensive. So they're selling $1 million home, coming down here and buying a $700,000 home.
Oh, sure. Yeah. If you're making the stretch, right? Yeah. If you're making the move, if you're a local person though, I'm selling in Vacaville to buy in Vacaville.
Yeah.
Most of the time I'm selling, I'm probably getting another mortgage, right?
Right.
And I would just ask you, Donnie, if you have that situation where you've got a guy, he's selling a house, you got his house on the market, you're going to put it on the market, and then he's going to buy another home, but he needs a loan, right? He's going to still need a loan. I'm sure you come across those guys yeah. What do you do with those people? Do you refer them to your favorite loan officer, or
I do?
Yeah.
The biggest challenge where we live, and I just spoke to an agent yesterday. We have a lot of the Rocket Mortgage or a large lending tree, and they come down to where we live, and many areas in Florida have associations. Well, a lot of your outside lenders have no clue what that means.
Right.
So with a condo, they have to get a certain list of, cost for the condo. If there's a lawsuit, they approve a loan. They had one recently. They approved a loan, didn't even know it was a condo. After they went through the condo regime and found out all the information, the loan was thrown out.
Yeah.
So I want control.
Yeah.
And
so you said, so you got a guy who's selling his house to buy another one. They're not going, out of state or whatever. They're going to buy in here. They need another loan. You more than likely are going to call your favorite loan buddy and say, hey, or tell them, hey, I got a good guy. He's trustworthy. I've used him in the past many times. Maybe give this guy a call. Right. So Agreed. Yeah. So the direction I'm going with this, Kevin, is that if this goes down and if this becomes systemic to the whole country, right? It's a national thing where the buyer agent dynamic is changed now and essentially rubbed out. All right. Or just dramatically changed. As a lending individual, where we've kind of, I think, misled ourselves. That's why I asked Donnie, he said it was healthy when we were about 50-50. I think a lot of loan officers mislead themselves into thinking, oh, they got 7 or 8 listings. They're a listing agent. They don't have any buyers.
Right.
That's not true. That's not true. Heck, half their sellers are probably a buyer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
like, you can't say they don't have buyers. That's a ridiculous notion.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. That's always ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now I think that, it's going to enlighten loan officers and force loan officers to understand that, maybe these agents that have been around for a long time who do get 7, 8, 9 listings, 10 listings, maybe they are the real deal. Maybe they are the agent that I should be trying to, quote unquote, provide some sort of value to let them know that I'm here and I do good business, And so, I think that the originators are going to want to start paying more attention to the agents that do have listings, and because there's buyers in there and they're traditionally, and I don't want to say this, everybody's successful in their own right, no matter what they do. I don't want to, get, any of that from anybody, but, traditionally the more seasoned, experienced agents are the ones that tend to have some listings under their belt at any given, because just like Donnie said,
Sure.
they sold these people houses years ago and now they're selling and now they're listing their houses for sale. Right? Am I right, Donnie?
Right.
Am I in line?
If this goes down, the listing agents are the most valuable component in the marketplace. If this goes down, the buyer is going to reach out to the listing agent. So he has control of both ends. And if I have the listing, I'm going to be advertising. So I'm ultimately going to get the buyers to call me. Hey, I just saw your listing. I mean, I have a display in my front office here that's 8 panels, 6 listings in each panel. That's a beacon. So when somebody walks up and they say, oh, I like this house, they're going to walk in the door.
Yeah.
Oh, that one just sold, but I have another one. So the listing agent has full control. But if the future turns out where the buyer is not compensated through a co-broke with the listing, if I'm a buyer's agent, I'm going to have a tie-in arrangement, which means, hey, Mr. Buyer, I'm going to help you find your home. My fee is $1,000. However, in the tie-in arrangement, when you go to list this home that I'm helping you buy, I'm your listing guy. That's what
and I'll give you that $1,000 back.
Yes.
I'll reduce my commission by $1,000.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's clever. That's clever. Well, I think this is a perfect segue, Kevin, for you to kind of talk about MoveTube and the advantage for the LO on MoveTube that we just released, and how it can be so helpful given the circumstances that we find ourselves in today.
Right. Yeah. So anybody watching this show, I mean, this is actually going to be our first show. So it just came together. We're like, let's do a MoveTube show. We've got MoveTube, as you can kind of see it behind me right here. You can actually get on your TV if you got Roku, Amazon Fire Sticks, etc. We have put real estate search on television. You see it behind me there. Really cool, right? So we know consumers love this thing, but we decided to build a product around it. Man, the timing of this is perfect, just because this product allies lenders with those listing agents. And I'm just going to go ahead and we'll show here, like right here. I'm just happen to be just setting up somebody's account. This loan officer right here in this market, she's had an opportunity with, right now, she's got over 3,000 agents with listings currently on MoveTube, but they're not branded because they don't know about it. And, because she's a paying advertiser in MoveTube, a lender, she can set these guys up and get them going with all the cool tools that we've got in MoveTube Studio, man. So that the timing of this launch is just incredible. So if you go to studio.movetube.com, you'll see all the features, and we got a little video in there. Won't get into all that right now. By the way, Frank, we did put, I don't know if you see that. There it is. Loan officer agent, MoveTube Studio. So if they're on
thank you.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, I want to know all about MoveTube Studio, and they're going to MoveTube.com. Well, that's a consumer facing. That's where people search properties, but it's right there. Open it up. There you go, MoveTube Studio. And if you are a loan officer watching this, You can kind of see, go to loan officers, got a little cool video for you. We show you all the tools you get amongst this. This is our agents on demand tool. So you can kind of see who's doing what in the market in your area. Who are those winning agents that probably won't be affected by this too much because they're kind of like Donnie over there. They got their listings. They're doing good in their market. So there's our shameless pitch of MoveTube Studio. We're going to be talking more about it for sure in the future. But get on board, guys. Go. Let's see here. I'm still learning all this stuff. Here we go. All right. So yeah, get on board. Actually, if you go to MoveTube Studio website, there's a place to sign up for a webinar. We're going to be doing one probably weekly.
Yeah.
Today we'll have one into this week on Friday, mainly for loan officers to show you how you can enhance your business with this. But guys, this lawsuit can have major implications, and now's the time to ally yourself with those winning listing agents that are actually doing business right now. We just don't know what the future holds. Now, this could go into, and it's going to go into appeal, and we don't know how long that's going to be carried out. We just don't know. But you know what? Even if this lawsuit wasn't in place, it's still a winning strategy to get out in front and ally yourself with these agents. I know when I was doing loans, I always did property marketing. I worked with agents and I helped them in their property marketing. And like Donnie just mentioned, like so many of them referred me to their sellers because sellers, man, behind every listing is a potential loan. Yeah. And I would help out. I would bring sign writers out. We do the flyers. I would try to go on my way to meet the seller because I would guilt that seller into working with me or sending me referrals if they're not going to work with me. That worked very well. I would just say, look,
you didn't guilt them. You earned their respect.
Yeah,
and they felt just really happy to, work with you and send you referrals.
Right. I mean, the way I would frame it is like, hey, like, let's just say if I was one of Donnie's LOs, like, hey, I'm one of Donnie's, preferred lenders, but I go above and beyond. I love marketing and I do property marketing. I'm assisting him on the marketing. So I'm now on board. I'm now on the team to help you sell your home. And here's some cool stuff we're doing together. I'm helping Donnie with. By the way, your property's featured on TV because I let Donnie know about that. I made him aware of YouTube. I would pitch that, right? And by the way, but are you paying cash for your next home? Where are you guys moving to? Are you paying cash for your next home? And I asked that question. Well, no, we're not. But I might be working with my bank. Oh, is your bank helping you with the marketing? If you get in front of them, I was very successful in eventually earning their business. Maybe I wouldn't earn it that day, but oh man, this loan officer I'm working with, I don't know if he knows what he's doing. Hey, Kevin, can you give me a second opinion? I'd get those kind of calls a lot. And I would say, look, I don't get paid. Donnie's not paying me. Okay. I don't work for Donnie. I just do this because I get business doing it. It helps me meet people that are doing something in the business right now, which is you're selling your home. I remember when I did this, I remember one particular instance where I had she was a nurse in Austin, where I'm originally from. And man, she just kept referring me. Like I got hospital workers for at least 3 years just because I went out there and met her. Right. And she was selling her home. That's how it worked. So these are all part of our strategies. But guys, this is just so important. We wanted to get this out there right now because this is hitting the press right now. So I know people are going to be looking for more information on this. But
it's a big value add to the real estate agent. And Donnie, you're a realtor. I know you're a fan of MoveTube. I know you probably enjoyed going on a listing presentation saying, "Hey, list with me. I'm going to get you on TV." That's a really cool thing to say as a real estate agent.
Easy intro to get a listing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. We know you guys are winning with it.
Roku, bring a Roku with you and download it and show them the advantage of it.
That's cool. Yeah.
This lawsuit, all more reason to be exposed everywhere. And if MoveTube is the future, which we know it's going to be the streaming future for real estate, if I'm an agent and if they're going to have to come to me because this buyer agency is all messed up, I better be everywhere, not just in magazines, which are a thing of the past, but any real estate site that's going to feature my listing and now on streaming TV. What better way to capture the buyer that no longer wants to be represented by an agent? They want to come to you.
Right.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. I true story. I was, my wife just got a listing in contract today. It just happened today. It was about 3 weeks ago. I actually got a referral. A friend of mine said, hey, I got a buddy. He's my neighbor. He wants to sell his house. I know you're in the business, even though I'm a loan guy, talk. I send him your way or give him a call. So I get a hold of him and I say, hey, I do the loans, but my wife, and my daughter-in-law, they're the team and real estate. Yeah, come on by. So we come by and he's showing us around the house and blah, blah, blah. And, after we, I was with them and after we got, looked around the house or whatever, we're sitting in the kitchen kind of flows right into the living room. There's a couch in the living room. I'm literally like sitting on the couch on the armrest kind of thing of the couch. It's a Saturday. He's got college football playing on a big screen TV. And I noticed on the kitchen counter, there's this folder from another agent, right? That was beautiful. I mean, it was like an impressive folder. Okay. So no, but my wife and my daughter-in-law are in there with their folder, which is this crappy manila folder with kind of the ruffled edges and everything. It's just your basic, out of the box from Staples, thing that's got some comps that they printed and put in there and stuff. And I'm looking at this folder, which was just glorious. It was just so beautiful. And the guy goes, yeah, I know you're referred by my friend Brian. His name's Brian. He goes, but go ahead. All right, tell me what you got. What do you got? So here we are. I'm like, oh crap. So what I did is I just went, hey man, I saw on the arm of the couch, it was the Roku remote, right? I knew that was a Roku TV. And so I said, hey man, is that a Roku TV? He goes, yeah. I go, mind if I show you something? He goes, sure. I went on there. I added MoveTube. They're moving to Colorado. I added MoveTube. I go, where are you going? Denver? Okay. Went to Denver. I said, yeah, so you can search properties right from your couch with you and your wife right here. He goes, wow, you've got to be kidding me. That is awesome. I go, right? I go, yeah. I go, yeah, you list with these girls, your home will be on this TV. And I go to the front of the property search. It'll be first. He goes, dude, that is cool. They got that listing.
That's exactly what I do.
Is that what you do?
What I do. Yes. I have not lost a listing since we were introduced to MoveTube. Not one. It's perception is reality.
Yeah.
And if somebody trusts you, they'll give you anything. But once they trust you and you show them something that impactful, you might as well go ahead. You just bring the listing agreement with you.
Yeah.
You're not going to walk out of there without the listing. I can promise you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool.
You got me looking at properties in Denver, man. Check this out. Look at this, man.
Nice place.
Yeah.
Nice place. Yeah. So, I tell you, man, they got the listing. I know it was because of MoveTube. I know it was. So when it comes to a loan officer realtor partnership relationship and all this, a loan officer being able to, because let's be honest, for MoveTube to exist, it needs to make money. It just does. We can't do it for free. Somebody's got to pay something.
Right.
And so the way we have it structured is the loan officer is basically paying for advertising on the realtor's listings, right? On the channel and on the marketing materials. The realtor brings value to the table in the fact that they're bringing the listing to the table, right? Look, Johnny, getting listings to the table ain't easy, right? Like it's a lot of work. It costs a lot of money to be in business, to be able to produce a listing and bring it to the market, right? So there's high value in bringing the listing. But the agent allows us to put MoveTube advertising and a sponsor advertiser on the TV channel and on some marketing material. So it's free for the agent, which is great. It's just one less expense that they need to be on something cool. The loan officer pays a nominal fee to be able to, work with a certain amount of real estate agents and provide, the advertising dollars that are needed to run the thing. Right. So it's really a win-win situation. And for a loan officer to be able to go to a real estate agent and say, hey, man, I got this cool thing and it'll help you. It'll help me. It'll help us. Let's do it. And I don't know. And I've had a handful of agents say no just because I was on the phone cold calling. They didn't get what I was saying. They're like, what is this? They hang up. I've had a couple, do that. But I've had several that are like, what? You got to be kidding me. What is this you're talking about?
Yeah,
check it out. Yeah.
What I've done in our local market through the National Association of Realtors, there's a program called the YPN, Young Professional Network.
Yeah.
I didn't know it's brand new chapter here in our market. And when I came across it, I started looking at who these individuals are. They're the young 30 to 20 something. who would embrace this technology, because the reality is my generation, we're 10 years out of we're getting close to retirement. Not that I want to retire, but this new industry that's coming in front of us with MoveTube, your young generation is going to absolutely, they're going to gravitate right to this, because it's yes, it's run by the loan officers from an advertising perspective. The agents are giving you the listing, which fuel it, but the number one thing that actually makes it run is the consumer.
Yeah.
And who has the best tie with consumer is these young professionals who has Facebook presence everywhere. I have an agent in Hilton Head that I just spoke to yesterday. 144,000 people follow him.
Wow.
And he doesn't even use his Facebook to market his real estate. But yesterday, when I shared with him the advantage he has with MoveTube, my conversation with him tomorrow when we sign him up is use the 144,000 buyers to your advantage.
Nice.
Yeah. And then they spread it. So the consumers going to MoveTube, the agents fuel it with the listings, and the loan officers write the contracts.
Yeah.
It's a perfect ecosystem.
Yeah.
No, it's great. Yeah, you're not the younger generation, but we've actually found the Roku gives us demographics on this thing. Like our biggest audience is 50 and up. It's crazy. But it makes sense because we get feedback from folks. I mean, look at this. So this is my TV. For those who are not seeing this, like this is my remote here. By the way, I'm already planning my ski vacation to Colorado. Thanks, Frank. But yeah, man, look at this. Well, no, I you know what? I just like to go have a couple of beers out the end of the slope and then go sit in the hot tub. But yeah, man. But think about this. Like we're talking about older people. Like we get feedback from folks that are like, "Oh my gosh, once I discover this, I don't want to go back to my my phone or my laptop anymore because look how big these pictures are. By the way, this property looks great." I'm like, you see it virtually behind me. I'm looking at my big TV right in front of me. But yeah, it's just everybody loves it and they're becoming fans of it. We're gonna, as we grow this thing, we're gonna keep making it more and more of a thing and just really improving it. But we're excited about it. We're excited to get this thing launched, into the lending industry so they can just really go out there and introduce it to the agents that they work with or want to work with. And so we're excited about that. But guys, I know we need to wrap this up. We're kind of over 30. Yeah. We're over 30 something minutes. Yeah. I thought this was going to be like less than 10 minutes.
Oh, please.
But I know so this is actually going to be our first show on the MoveTube show, right? MoveTube Studio.
Awesome.
Yeah. This show is obviously more B2B. We're talking to you loan officers and agents, of course. But we're going to be doing a lot of consumer based. We have a lot of great ideas for the things that consumers would like to do and hear about and see. So we're going to be doing that as well. So guys, thanks a lot. Thanks, Donnie, for jumping on last minute, man. That's been great.
I enjoyed it.
And thanks for coming on, Frank, too. Last minute, Frank called me. What's going on? I'm like, oh, you're getting ready to be on a show in like 1 minute. Just jump on.
Okay, let's go.
Right.
Take one.
So. All right, guys. Well, thanks again. Right. We'll see you next time, and hope you guys enjoyed it. And we're out of here.
Go see MoveTube. Go get MoveTube.
Go to MoveTube. Yeah, go to MoveTube. Right. Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.
Adios.
Absolutely. Take care, y'all.
Adios. Well, we hope you enjoyed our very first show. It was spontaneous and a last-second decision, but we really wanted to get in and talk about this story today. So please like, subscribe, and share, and we promise to bring you more to the lending and real estate community. Thanks again for watching.